Hello everybody and welcome to EduMedia YouTube channel. This is the first of a 4-series video on GES Aptitude Test for promotion and selection to a higher rank. In this video, we present to you 15 questions and answers to practice and prepare for the examination. Each answered question is followed with a brief explanation on why the option is selected as the correct answer. If you find any answer misleading, please do leave us a comment and we are sure to respond promptly. Before we start, if you are new to our channel or if this is your first time visiting our channel or you are an old visitor but have not yet subscribed, I will urge you to subscribe and share our content. This helps to push our content to a wider audience. If you are one of our dearest subscribers, we warmly welcome you once again and we appreciate your being with us. Question number 1. A behavior modification wherein tokens are awarded for correct responses is A. Herbert's 5 steps, B. Locke's tabula rasa, C. Thorndike's law of effect, and D. Thorndike's law of exercise. The correct answer here is C. In educational psychology, you know that there's an American psychologist known as Edward Thorndike who developed a theory of learning known as instrumental conditioning. This instrumental conditioning is also known as the trial and error learning. From his various experiments, Thorndike developed 3 laws of learning. You have the law of exercise, the law of readiness, and the law of effect. Of these laws, the law of effect stated that behavioral responses that are followed by pleasure would be strengthened and responses followed by pain would be weakened. Question number 2. In CCE, formative and summative assessment totals to A. 40% and 60% respectively, B. 60% and 40% respectively, C. 80% and 20% respectively, D. 20% and 80% respectively. The correct answer here is A. 40% and 60% respectively. The CCE is the Continuous and Comprehensive Evaluation. It refers to a system of school-based assessment that covers all aspects of student development. It emphasizes on 2 objectives: continuity in evaluation and assessment of broad-based learning. One of the points on the CCE indicates that formative assessments should total 40% and summative assessments should total 60%. Question number 3. Classroom communication must be A. Teacher-centric, B. Student-centric, C. General-centric, and D. Textbook-centric. The correct answer here is B. Student-centric. Student-centric communication means teachers and students work collaboratively to co-create a learning plan or pathway that best suits the needs of each individual learner. The student-centric communication is personalized, conversational, and convenient. Question number 4. Teachers' role at higher education is to A. Provide information to students, B. Promote self-learning in students, and C. Encourage healthy competition among students, D. Help students to solve their problems. The correct answer here is B. Promote self-learning in students. Now, this idea is taken from the Dalton Plan, and the Dalton Plan is a method of education by which pupils work at their own pace and receive individual help from the teacher when necessary. Students draw up their own timetables, and they are also responsible for finishing the work on their syllabus and assignment. Question number 5. The term identical element is closely associated with A. Similar test questions, B. Similar twins in class, C. Transfer of learning, and D. Group instructions. The correct answer here is C. Transfer of learning. The identical element theory of Thorndike and Woodward helps in explaining this phenomenon of transfer. They claim that the transfer of learning from one task to another task would occur when both tasks shared some kind of common identical element. Question number 6. The mind of an infant is a tabula rasa. Who contributed to this concept? A. J. Russell, B. John Locke, C. Horaceman, and D. Plateau. The correct answer here is B. John Locke. Now, John Locke is an English philosopher. He proposed that the mind of a newborn infant is a tabula rasa, or a blank slate, on which experience needs to be written on. Question number 7. At primary level, it is better to teach in mother language because A. It develops self-confidence in children. B. It makes learning easy. C. It is helpful in intellectual development. And D. It helps children in learning in natural atmosphere. The correct answer here is D. It helps children in learning in natural atmosphere. A research conducted by UNESCO shows that education in the mother language is a key factor for inclusion and quality learning. It also improves learning outcomes and academic performance. This is crucial, especially in primary school, to avoid knowledge gaps and increase the speed of learning and comprehension. Question number 8. A teacher is said to be fluent in asking questions if he can ask A. Meaningful questions, B. As many questions as possible, C. Maximum number of questions in a fixed time, and D. Many meaningful questions in a fixed time. The correct answer here is A. Meaningful questions. Effective questioning is a key tool in assessment for learning strategies and should be planned such that a range of responses are anticipated. Good questioning requires time for people to think and respond, and the more learners are actively engaged in learning, the less scope there is to switch off. Therefore, the focus is to ask meaningful questions not bound by a fixed time. Question number 9. There are 3 phases of teaching given by P. Jackson. Which of the following is incorrect? A. Pre-active phase, B. Interactive phase, C. Post-active phase, and D. Interactive phase. The correct answer here is D. Underactive phase. Philip Jackson was a renowned scholar. His teaching methodology focused more on children. He formulated a model of teaching that are divided into 3 phases. You have the pre-active, that's about the preparation of teaching. We have the interactive phase, that's the actual classroom teaching, and then the post-active phase. Post-active phase involves determining the tools to check for the achievement of intended learning outcome. Question number 10. Who first attempted to describe personality traits in terms of lexical descriptors? A. Rostagna, B. Alport and Odbert, C. R.B. Cattell, and D. Costa and McCrae. The correct answer here is B. Alport and Odbert. In 1936, Gordon Alport and Henry Odbert used the lexical hypothesis to conduct one of the important and seminal studies in personality psychology. They compared lexical personality descriptors from Webster in New International Dictionary of the English Language for first comprehensive lexical studies. They identified terms that describe personality, behaviors, and traits. Question number 11. Erikson proposed that trust and mistrust develops during the A. Anal stage, B. Genital stage, C. Latency stage, and D. Oral sensory stage. The correct answer here is D. Oral sensory stage. Erik Erikson developed a theory known as psychosocial. He developed this theory because he believed that people in the process of development are influenced by many kinds of psychosocial and social factors. He compounded the following: trust versus mistrust, which is normally from birth to a year; autonomy versus shame and doubt, which is within the range of a year to 3 years; initiative versus guilt, that is between 3 to 6 years; industry versus inferiority, 6 to 12 years; identity versus role confusion, which is 12 to 18 years, and so on and so forth. Question number 12. The Dalton scheme of education is useful for which of the following levels? A. Infant, B. Little children, C. Older children, and D. None of the listed options. The correct answer here is older children. Now, the Dalton plan is a method of education by which pupils work at their own pace and receive individual help from the teacher when necessary. Students draw up their own timetables and are responsible for finishing the work on their syllabuses and assignments. Question number 13. Cognitive development means A. Development of intelligence, B. development of physical skills, and C, development of child, and D, development of individual. The correct answer here is A, development of intelligence. Cognitive development is one of the domains of development patterns that begins at conception and continues through the life cycle. It has to do with changes in reasoning and thinking, with language acquisition, and with how individuals gain and store knowledge in their environment. Question number 14. Education is the manifestation of perfection already in man, was stated by A. M.K. Gandhi, B. R.M. Tagore, C. Swami Vivekananda, and D. Sri Aurobindo. The correct answer here is C. Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda is an Indian philosopher and teacher who believed that education is the manifestation of the perfection already in man. Therefore, a teacher's job is only to remove obstruction from the people's path. Question number 15. The individual develops through the head, the heart, and the hand. This was the educational philosophy of A. Herbert, B. Comenius, C. Pestalozzi, and D. Froebel. The correct answer here is C. Pestalozzi. Pestalozzi believed that education should develop the powers of head, heart, and hands. He believed that this would help create individuals who are capable of knowing what is right and what is wrong, and of acting according to this knowledge. Right, that's all. Question number 1. A baby sucking his thumb is an example of A. Aggression, B. Displacement, C. Regression, and D. Withdrawal. The correct answer here is C. Regression. A baby sucking his or her thumb is an example of regression, which is a defense mechanism in psychoanalysis. Regression refers to the reversion to a previous stage of development, either in terms of behavior or mental functioning. It is also a way of coping with stress or anxiety. Therefore, sucking one's thumb can be seen as a form of regressive behavior that provides comfort and security to the individual. Question number 2. The part of the brain that develops first is the A. Cerebral cortex, B. Neocortex, C. Midbrain, and D. Hindbrain. The correct answer here is D. Hindbrain. The hindbrain is also known as the basal ganglia. It is the first part of the brain to develop during the embryonic development. It is responsible for controlling basic functions such as breathing, heart rate, and muscle tone. As the brain continues to develop, the neocortex and cerebral cortex develop and become increasingly complex, allowing for the development of higher cognitive functions such as thinking, perception, and consciousness. Question number 3. Which of the following is not the tool for formative assessment in scholastic domain? Option A. Conversation skill. Option B. Multiple choice questions. Option C. Projects. And option D. Oral questions. The correct answer for question number 3 is A. Conversation skill. Formative assessment refers to the ongoing evaluation of students' learning and development, and it typically involves the use of various tools and techniques to gather data and provide feedback to the student. Conversation skills are important for effective communication and personal development, but they are not typically considered a tool for formative assessment in the scholastic domain. Common tools for formative assessment include the multiple choice questions, projects, oral questions, and other types of assessments that provide information on the student's understanding and progress. Question number 4. Which of the following factors does not impact teaching? Option A. Classroom activities that encourage learning. Option B. Socioeconomic background of teachers and students. Option C. Learning through experience. And then option D. Teachers' knowledge. The correct answer for question number 4 is B. Socioeconomic background of teachers and students. The socio-economic background of teachers and students can certainly impact a student's educational experience and opportunities, but it does not directly impact teaching.
Effective teaching is influenced by a variety of factors such as the teacher's knowledge and expertise, the use of engaging and effective instructional strategies, and the opportunities for students to learn through experience. Classroom activities such as hands-on projects, group work, and discussions are also important components of effective teaching. Therefore, the option that does not impact teaching is socioeconomic background of teachers and students. Question number 5. How will you treat a visually challenged student along with normal students in your classroom? Option A. Not giving extra attention to the student in the class. Option B. Conclude that blindness is his or her destiny, hence nothing can be done. Option C. Sympathetically care for the student in the classroom. And option D. Provide convenient sitting place and teach at a pace convenient to the student. The correct answer is D. Provide convenient sitting place and teach at a pace convenient to the student. When teaching a visually challenged student along with other students who are not visually challenged, it is important to provide accommodations that allow the students to fully understand and fully participate in the class and access the materials. This might involve arranging a seat in the front row so that the student can hear the teacher more clearly, using audio materials or braille materials to supplement the visual materials, and teaching at a pace that is more convenient to the student. Question number 6. Archimedes found the solution to his problem when he was in his bathtub. This will come under which step of process creativity? Option A. Preparation. Option B. Verification. Option C. Incubation. And then option D. Illumination. The correct answer is D. Illumination. Graham Wallace compounded 4 stages of creative thinking, and the step of illumination is the stage in the creative process where the solution to a problem becomes apparent. This can happen in sort of a moment of sudden insight, or it may come gradually over time. The story of Archimedes discovering the solution to his problem while in the bathtub is a classic example of illumination in the creative process. According to the story, Archimedes was trying to determine the density of a crown and whether it was made of pure gold. And the solution came to him while he was relaxing in the bathtub and noticed the water level rising as he got in. This sudden insight led to the discovery of the principle of displacement, which he used to determine the density of the crown and solve his problem. Question number 7. The best way to rid a student of his bad behavior is A. To punish the student mercilessly. B. To criticize the student for his bad behavior. C. To educate the student constantly. And D. To hand over the student to the police. The correct answer is C. To educate the student constantly. Punishing a child harshly or turning them over to the police or criticizing them for bad behavior can be harmful and not an effective way to help a child change their behavior. Instead, it is important to educate the child and help them understand why their behavior is problematic, as well as to provide them with the skills and knowledge they need to behave appropriately. This might involve setting clear expectations, providing positive reinforcement for good behavior, and teaching the child alternative ways of responding to difficult situations. It is important to work with the child to identify any underlying causes of their misbehavior, such as emotional or behavioral issues, and to address these in a supportive and understanding manner. Question number 8. According to Kohlberg's moral development theory, children at the premoral stage A think that bad behavior is punished and good behavior is not punished. B. Have no conception of good or bad behavior. C. Are amoral. And D. Are uncooperative. The correct answer for question number 8 is A. Think that bad behavior is punished and good behavior is not punished. According to Kohlberg's theory of moral development, children in the premoral stage tend to view the world in terms of concrete consequences. They understand that bad behavior is punished and good behavior is not punished, but they have not yet developed a sense of internalized morality or a more abstract understanding of what is right and wrong. During this stage, children's moral reasoning is based primarily on obedience to authority figures and the avoidance of punishment. Question number 9. Who defined sociology of education as a study of the relation between education and society? Option A, Good. Option B, Smith. Option C, Brown. And option D, Otawe. The correct answer for question number 9 is A, Good. The definition of sociology of education as a study of the relation between education and society is often attributed to the British educational sociologist James Alexander Good. Alexander was a pioneer in the field of educational sociology and is known for his work on the social stratification of schools and relationship between education and social inequality. Question number 10. Maximum participation of students during teaching is possible through A. Lecture method, B. Demonstration method, C. Induction method, and D. Textbook method. The correct answer is C. Inductive method. The inductive method is designed to actively engage students in the learning process and encourage their participation. This method starts with specific examples or observations and then leads the student to draw general conclusions or formulate theories on their own, rather than simply presenting information or directives from the teacher. By encouraging students to actively think and reason, the inductive method helps to promote maximum student participation, critical thinking, and problem-solving skills. Question number 11. Who coined the term cultural capital? A. Mark Robbie and Ion. B. Bowers and Gintis. C. Young. And D. Bourdieu and Passeron. The correct answer is D. Bourdieu and Passeron. The term cultural capital was introduced by the French sociologist Pierre Bourdieu and Jean-Claude Passeron in the 1970s. Question number 12. Classical conditioning is based on the idea of learning by A. Association, B. Insight, C. Imitation, and D. Cognition. The correct answer is A. Association. Classical conditioning is also known as Pavlovian conditioning. It is a type of learning that occurs when a neutral stimulus becomes associated with a stimulus that naturally evokes a response, so that the neutral stimulus eventually elicits the same response. For example, in the famous experiment by the Ivan Pavlov, dogs learn to associate the sound of a bell with the presentation of food, so that eventually the sound of the bell alone was enough to cause the dogs to salivate. Classical conditioning is based on the idea that learning occurs through the formation of association between stimuli and responses. Question number 13. Operant conditioning theory tells us that a behavior that is not reinforced will be A. Repeated, B. Changed into new behavior, C. Extinguished, and D. The basis for mental illness. The correct answer is C. Extinguished. Operant conditioning is also known as instrumental conditioning. It's a type of learning in which the consequences of a behavior determine whether it will be repeated or not. According to this theory, behaviors that are followed by positive consequences, such as reinforcement, are more likely to be repeated, while behaviors that are not reinforced will eventually be extinguished. This means that a behavior that is not reinforced will become less and less frequent over time until it stops altogether. This process of extinction is an important aspect of operant conditioning theory. Question number 14. According to Bandura's social learning theory, people learn through A. Shaping, B. Imitation, C. Expansion of their zones of proximal development, and D. Development of cognitive structures. The correct answer is B. Imitation. According to Bandura's social learning theory, people learn through a combination of observation, that is imitation, reinforcement, and modeling. Question number 1. The capitation grant was set up to achieve universal basic education. The answer here is true. The capitation grant is a government-funded program aimed at providing financial support to basic schools to help improve the quality of education in the country. Now, the grant actually provides funding to schools to cover the cost of basic educational services such as the instructional materials and any other necessary resources. Question number 2. It is the direct responsibility of the school management committees, that's the SMC, to see to the implementation of the School Performance Improvement Plan (SPIP). The answer here is true. The School Management Committee actually plays a key role in overseeing the implementation of the School Performance Improvement Plan in schools. The SMCs are typically composed of teachers, parents, community members, and all other stakeholders, and they are responsible for ensuring that the SPIP is implemented effectively and in a timely manner. Question number 3. A teacher's attitude towards students with special needs can drastically affect the quality of their learning experience. The answer here is true. Now, a teacher's attitude towards students with special needs can have a significant impact on the quality of their learning experience. Teachers actually play a critical role in creating a positive and conducive learning environment for all students, including those with special needs. And a teacher who is dismissive or insensitive to the needs of students with special needs can have a detrimental effect on their learning experience, which can negatively impact their engagement, motivation, and other achievements in the classroom. So it is therefore important for teachers to be aware of the impact of their attitudes and to strive to create a positive and inclusive learning environment for all students. Question number 4. What serves as reinforcement of learning to one student will always work for another student? The correct answer here is false. Now, what serves as reinforcement of learning to one student will not necessarily work for another student. Every student is unique and has their own individual learning style, motivations, and preferences. What may be an effective reinforcement of learning for one student may not be effective for another student. Therefore, it's very important that you understand, as a teacher, you understand the individual needs and motivations of the student and also adapt to the teaching strategies and reinforcement in the classroom. Question number 5. The provisions made in the Education Act 778 resulted in the Ministry of Education's decision to institute the professional licensing and registration policy for teachers. The correct answer here is true. Now, the Education Act 778 outlines the framework for the provision of education in Ghana. It includes the roles and responsibilities of the various stakeholders such as the teachers, school administrators, and even the Ministry of Education itself. Now, the Act also lays out the standards and requirements for teacher education, certification, and professional development. Question number 6. There are 4 main programs under the Ghana Education Service. The correct answer here is true. Now, under the Ghana Education Service, there are 4 main programs. We have 1, basic education, which comprises of the kindergarten, the primary, and then the junior high schools. We also have the pre-tertiary education, then the secondary education comprising senior high school, that's SHS, and technical and vocational education. Then we have the special and inclusive education. These are the 4 main programs under the GES. Question number 7. The Governing Council of GES is made up of 15 members. The correct answer here is true. Now, the Governing Council of GES is actually made up of 50 members, and these members are taken from all different agencies. We have a member from the West African Examination, probably is actually the head of the West African Examination in Ghana. Then we have the National Schools Inspectorate Authority. We have the National Teaching Council, and then we have officers from the National Council for Curriculum and Assessment. We have the teacher unions be represented. We have the Ministry of Education itself having its rep there. Then the Local Government Service Council also have an officer there. Then we also have the faith-based organizations. We have the non-teaching staff for GES, that's the table. And then the president also nominates an official to join this particular council. The head of the GES is also part of this particular council. So the GES Council, the Governing Council, is made up of the 15 members. Question number 8. GES is responsible for the implementation of approved national tertiary educational policies and programs. The correct answer here is true. Now, as the primary government agency responsible for the management and administration of education in Ghana, the GES has a wide range of responsibilities, including setting educational policies and standards, managing the allocation of educational resources, and overseeing the implementation of educational programs at all levels of the education system in Ghana. Question number 9. In alphanumeric classification of filing, files are arranged in the order of numbers. The correct answer here is false. Now, the reason why this is false is that in alphanumeric classification of filing, files are arranged in both numerical and alphabetic order. So, alphanumeric classification is a method of organizing files and documents that are based on a combination of letters and numbers. Now, the next question. The most suitable Microsoft Office application to keep personal records of staff in a school is Microsoft Access. The correct answer here is true. Now, the reason why this is true is that Microsoft Access is suitable for keeping personal records of staff in a school. Microsoft Access is actually a database management system that allows users to create and manage databases, and it allows you to store, organize, and access data in a structured and efficient manner. So the next question we have here is question number 11. Accountability and improvement are two major purposes of assessment in education. The correct answer here is true. Now, this is true because accountability and improvement are two major purposes of assessment in education. Assessment refers to the process of measuring a student's knowledge, skills, abilities, and performance in a particular subject or course. Assessment is important for accountability because it provides a way for the teachers and the institutions to determine whether students are meeting the established standards and also the expectations of the learning are being met, such as the learning objectives. Question number 12. If a test is valid, then it is reliable. The correct answer here is false. Now, the reason why this is false is because validity and reliability are two distinct but related concepts in the field of assessment and testing. Validity refers to the extent to which a test accurately measures what it is intended to measure. In other words, a valid test measures what it is supposed to measure and is aligned with the content and skills being taught. Reliability, on the other hand, refers to the consistency and stability of a test result over time. So, a reliable test produces consistent and accurate results regardless of who takes the test or when the test is taken. Question number 13. The National Teaching Council is not a division of the Ghana Education Service. The correct answer is true. Now, the National Teaching Council is a government agency in Ghana that is responsible for the regulations of the teaching profession in the country. The NTC sets its own standards for teacher education and professional development, and it is responsible for the registration, licensing, and accreditation of teachers. It is not a division of the Ghana Education Service, but rather it operates as an independent agency under the Ministry of Education. Question number 14. Delegation in a school setting is a process by which school heads transfer their core responsibilities to their subordinates. The correct answer here is true. Question number 15. The West African Examination Council does not operate in Francophone West Africa. The correct answer here is false. Now, we all know very well that WAEC operates in other West African Francophone countries such as Burkina Faso, Senegal, and then the Cote d'Ivoire. Question number 17. An assessment procedure should not be based on the characteristic to be measured. The correct answer here is false. Now, the reason why this is false is that an assessment procedure should actually be based on the characteristics to be measured. In order for the assessment to be valid, it must accurately measure what it is intended to measure. The assessment procedure should be designed to assess the specific knowledge, skills, abilities, or characteristics that are being tested. The next question is question number 17. The National Accreditation Board is responsible for accrediting service providers who offer in-service training services to teachers. The correct answer here is true. Now, the National Accreditation Board is an independent government agency established under the Ministry of Education. It is responsible for establishing standards for education and training in Ghana. One of its responsibilities is also for the accreditation of all providers of teacher education and in-service training services in Ghana. Alright, so this is all that I have for you in this particular video. As I said, this is the third of our 4 series video that we are bringing to you for you to prepare for the GES Aptitude Test examination. If you like this video, hit the like button, share it to any other colleague of yours who is also preparing to write the examination. See you in our next video.